Yeast is not the only kind of fungi. Molds and mushrooms are also fungi, but they do not reproduce by budding. How do they reproduce? They reproduce by spore formation. Now, what is a spore? You know, spore is a tiny cell which has double wall. The outer wall is quite thick and with spines, while inner wall is thin and it has many nuclei. This is so tiny that we cannot see it with naked eye, or we can say it is microscopic. The spores are there in air just like your germs or bacteria and virus, and we cannot see them. But the moment these spores get favorable conditions like right temperature, food and water, they germinate and they can grow into a new plant. You can take a piece of bread, sprinkle some water over it and then cover it with a tumbler. After about a day, you will find a cotton like growth on the bread. Let it be there. Within 2-3 days, you will find this white cottony growth has turned black. Now, if you remove this black portion and see it under the microscope, you will see there are thread like structures which have swollen or rounded bodies. These are called sporangium. Sporangium in simple language is spore sac. It is a container in which there are spores. Now, this sporangium looks somewhat like this. Inside there are spores. So, when the spores are fully developed, it breaks open and the spores are liberated into air. A spore is a microscopic body it is covered by a hard outer covering to withstand unfavorable conditions. So, you see, spores not only help in reproduction, they also help to withstand unfavorable conditions. What are unfavorable conditions? Like high or very low temperature and low humidity. The favorable conditions are food, optimum temperature and water. Under these favorable conditions, spore germinates into new plant. So, in a way you can say that spores behave like seeds. The only difference is that seeds are formed on the flowering plants and they are larger in size. There are some more plants which reproduce by spore formation, and these are moss and fern. If you see a leaf of fern, on its back side you will find rounded or different patterns, brown patches. These are the spores. They are actually the sporangia which contain the spores and they also help in reproduction.